Good morning. You know what time it is? It's coffee time. That's right, with Michael Sanchez. How's everyone doing today on this beautiful Tuesday morning? Uh, Not as warm as it was yesterday, but about 48 over here, beautiful South Carolina. But yesterday was just what 84, 85. It felt great, but it's definitely cooled down today. That's all right. I'll take it. Anyway, got a good show today. I have author Julie Lomax. She'll be coming in to talk about her new novel called Never Say Never. Uh, I've had her here before, done some great work, so can't wait to hear about her new book. Should be coming out in April. A new book that should be coming out in April, so I'm looking forward to learn more about that. I know she's excited. She's been sending out messages and whatnot, you know, talk about her work. So I got my good friends there, Dale T. Phillips, author Dale Phillips. He's out there as well, and author Jeff Otis is out there as well. See if they can join us. Talk to them while we wait for our good friend Julie. Hey, Dale, you there?
Yes, good morning.
How's it going?
Okay, just one cup of coffee this morning.
I already had two, but you know what? Ever since you talked to me about that high blood pressure thing, I'm sort of trying to chill out, but it's very difficult. You know what I
Yeah, it is, but it can be done.
mean?
Make the second or third cup decaf. That's all.
I don't know about that, but
Find a good flavor and just scale back a little bit or do half and half. There you go.
uh, I've half and half. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, Jeff?
Yeah. Oh, good, good. I have two cups of coffee here at my desk, just so I don't run out during your podcast.
Two cups of coffee. You got a warmer there? Keep them warm or what? What are you doing?
Well, one of them's in a cup, and that's the one I'm drinking from right now. And the other one's in a thermos, so it's staying hot.
The thermos. Smart man.
And he's got a bottle of bourbon right next to him too
That's
to add
right.
to it. So
Well, there you go. Yeah.
No, you don't mix it, do you? You don't mix it with the bourbon, do you?
Well, it depends on what's on hand.
Uh-oh. I don't know if any I don't know if I'll do that. I'll never do that. I don't drink, so that's a good thing, I guess. Anyway, fellas, I got Julie Lomax supposed to come in to talk about her new novel, Never Say Never. Sounds like an interesting novel, an interesting title. What say you?
yeah, it's
Now,
like the James Bond film that's not part of the
never
canon.
say never. That's right. Yeah, never say never. Now, how important it is to have a nice title for a new book. I mean, how important is that?
Always good, always grab them with something.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
think I think it's like the opening paragraph of a book is very, very important because it's the reader's first introduction to you, except for something that came before that, and that's the title of the book. So that's where you're first going to encounter them. I think it's important.
Yeah, and it's always good to have the cover match the title and the genre and
That's
maybe
what I was
even the
about to
theme.
ask. Yeah, I was about to ask how important it is for the cover to match that title.
Oh yeah, I've seen some that were very misleading. It was a book that sounded like fried green tomatoes, and it had the cover like it, but it was a completely different book. And I'm sure people picked it up thinking it was one thing and got totally confused as to what it was, and just maybe even tossed it aside. And that's just deadly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That's why I try to make sure I try to get the right cover for my books. I'm the type that it doesn't take long. I mean, I'll look and look and look, and then bam, it just hits. And I'm like, that's perfect. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
when you know it's right, it just snaps into place like Lego pieces, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take y'all to get the covers for your books? Was it long process or what?
Yeah, I hired somebody. I think it was on 99 Designs, or it might have been on Fiverr. And so there was some back and forth. I'd explain what I wanted in the book, and they would then present me, a few days later with their uh, interpretation of what I wanted, and then we'd go back and forth until finally we had I had the product I wanted, and it took a few weeks.
Now, would you guys have your own personal folks to find these covers, or it's just random?
Yeah, but I have to sleep with my cover designer. It turns out that after all those years of marriage and everything, when I started doing books, she did a thing, and it turns out she has the eye, she has the great design capability, and the patience to come through and give me the best covers in the business. And people come by at shows and they stop and they go, "Man, you got some great covers there. That's awesome."
Now
Yeah.
you guys look for like the nice glossy type covers, or just straight, flat,
Well, I
you
go
know.
back and forth, and I just switched. I had one that was a flat matte cover, and I liked it. And then I just said, okay, I'm updating it. Let's try it with a glossy cover. And it came in. I went, whoa, that's even better. Holy mackerel. Let's get that from
Yeah,
now on.
Yeah,
yeah.
I go with glossy. I don't know. I think it's because it's sort of like if you have a painting that you've done and it's dry, it has this matte look, this oil painting, and when you varnish it, it's like a glossy book. You varnish it, and all of a sudden the colors come out more, and that's why I think I prefer glossy.
Dale, now that you mentioned, I'm gonna have to talk to you about maybe your wife helping me out with my next cover.
Well, she's retired from that business because she's full time on everything else. She was
Ah,
doing it for a while, but the trouble is it's not worth it to her because some people are like doing it, and like Jeff says, Fiverr and 99 Designs can give you a great start. And what you do is we download credits from Big Stock Photo, and you can just enter the type of cover you want. It'll come up with dozens, if not more, of great ideas. And you can pick a stock cover that's licensed for you to work from, and then let your designer work from there.
gotcha. Yeah, the companies that I've gone with, they've had some nice covers. That's where I got mine's from, and they've done a pretty good job. But again, it doesn't take long for me to find the right cover. I just
Good,
look at
good.
it and boom, there you go. So again, never say never. Is the title of this new book from Julie Lomax, and the cover that she provided. This looks pretty nice. It looks
How
like
did you find out about her?
I've interviewed her before, so it's not the first time. She's been here before,
And how did you
and
find out about her in the first place then?
that's a good question.
I know.
I don't know if it was through Blog Talk Radio when I was on Blog Talk. I don't know if it was through there. I can't remember. It's been so many people I've interviewed. So, but or she was introduced to me by someone else. I really can't remember, but she definitely found me, or I found her, and it went from there.
You got
So
to keep the logbook, Mike.
it's in my calendars, but I got several calendars, already to look back and say, yeah, it's I at the time. I'm not that organized. You know what I mean?
Got to
Oh,
find
I
an
know.
index of calendars.
Yeah, yeah.
If you could see my desk, I think you'd know. I know exactly what you mean by
Yeah,
disorganized.
I'm not that organized. I'm the type I'll have stuff everywhere, and they need to be just like that because I'll be upset that I can't find it. You know what I mean? But it's a mess. You know what I mean? Got calendars
Yeah.
all in my drawers and everything. I can't.
Yeah,
Ours,
I've got a pile to my right, a pile to my left, and then on top of the desk I've got several piles.
Wow. I worked with a guy whose office was like that. His cubicle was just piles and it looked completely random. But if you asked him, he could just reach in and pull out the one piece of paper he needed. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
kind of my wife's reaction. She's dumbfounded whenever I know exactly where something is, because she's kind of horrified at what she sees, because she's the opposite of me. She's very neat
Right.
and orderly.
Yeah, my wife's like that. Mike, what is this? Like, hey, leave it alone. Just leave it
Yeah,
alone.
please leave it
Yeah,
alone.
it'll be
I got
all
a
right. Don't
system.
worry
I
about
got a system. Don't touch.
Yeah,
it.
it might be called chaos, but it's a system.
Gotcha.
Well, chaos
Now,
is a system.
now, as I said, she is this book's supposed to come out in April. What are you guys' way of doing things? Would y'all want to talk about your books before it comes out or after the fact?
Oh, always after because I'm never sure when it comes out because sometimes it's like, oh, I think I'll get it done this spring and then something else happens or the book is not fully cooked to the point where I am satisfied and I said it's going to take a little longer. I've done that before or just another project comes by and muscles its way in, pushes to the front and says, "No, no, me next." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Okay."
yeah, it can be unpredictable. Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I tend to talk about it once it's available. Although it seems that I've seen experts on YouTube saying, "No, you got to start before it comes out. Get everybody pumped up and primed for the big day, and so on." But I'm just not that organized.
Well, they say that because that is a sales technique, but we are writers
Yeah,
less
yeah,
than we
yeah.
are salespeople.
Yeah.
And when you spend all your time with these very complicated book launches, 6 months in advance, and you're doing, every letter of the alphabet, to do something, a lot of these people who are doing that really should spend more time in their craft of writing. I
Mm.
found that some of the best marketers have some of the terrible books. And if you just spend time writing a better book, I don't need to hear about something if it's not as good.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. So, how
But
much promoting should you guys do, or should someone do when trying to show off or showcase their new book?
Well, it's funny. I've written a book on marketing to tell people how to do it, and somebody just looked at it and said, "Oh my God, I'm exhausted just by looking at that." I'm like, "Well, you don't have to do that." So I
yeah.
do more promotion than I do marketing, and I do fun stuff and one offs and things that I like rather than get some lengthy organized sales campaign that covers everything. I don't have the time, energy, or interest for that
Mm.
sort of thing. So, but
Yeah.
I do a lot of promotion because I do shows like this and I promote this. Say, hey, I was a guest on another show. Check this out. And
Mm.
that's what I do to get people's interest going. And then it's like, oh, I got a book. But once a book's out, I do very little marketing of it after the fact.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Well, I do on Amazon. I do advertise the book because the competition is so fierce. You have to when somebody does a search, say for coming of age fiction, they type that in. Um, if you don't have the advertising going on, it may be several pages before your book even comes up. And with the advertising, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but you get a better, you get people to see your book more. And so I do that. And then I'll do things like book signings. in a group of other authors. We'll go to various bookstores and we'll do book signings, and that's not only helpful for sales, but it helps people get to know you, get your name out there.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
it
gotcha.
brings up a good point. They say in mystery writing, we say the best place to bury a body is the 8th page of an Amazon search.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Dale, you're a trip.
Yeah, I feel sometimes I've got rigor mortis.
Nobody will ever find it. Never
Yeah,
find it.
yeah.
Yeah, trip. Folks, again, we're waiting for Julie Lomax, author Julie Lomax. She's the author of a new book that's supposed to come out in April, Never Say Never. As we wait for her, we got Jeff Otis and Dale T. Phillips, authors there, great authors, coming in, talking about, promoting and marketing and what it takes to, promote your work, new work. So, guys, how much time should you put into a new book until you finally figure out it's time to move on to the next thing? How much time?
This is a great question because I've worked on a book anywhere from 6 months to production to 35 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So the answer is like the engineer says, well, it depends.
It depends. It
yeah.
depends.
It all depends on how well the book comes together, and of course, how much time you had to devote to it. I have a tendency to put things on the back burner while I, work on something else that I'm most interested in at the time, and then that gets put on the back burner, and I bring the other book forward. But it really, um, it's I find it's best to not rush a book because it takes a while to be able to step back and look at it the way maybe a reader would, and you start to see things that you might not have seen when you were in the rush of it all, because like I found out over and over and over again that you'll have a picture in your mind of what's going on, why it's happening, what it means, the environment, and then you'll come back, or a reader will approach you. Hopefully, it's a beta reader and it hasn't been published yet, but and they'll say, I'm kind of confused here, or
Yeah.
wait a minute, weren't they over here before, and now it sounds like they're over here, and there's stuff like that
Yeah. Yeah.
that you really got to keep coming back to it, coming
And it
back
has to be
before.
fully cooked. You can't shove it out the door just because you have a schedule. And I think in traditional publishing that sadly happens too often is you can tell when a book has filler to just make the word count that the publisher wanted or the schedule they wanted, and it's like, oh, this really needed some more time in the oven.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah. Some folks feel that they need to be rushed to have a book out,
No,
but
no.
I don't think that's always the case. Yeah. Yeah, I try not to. I've been waiting 2.5. It's been over 2.5 years, so I
Yeah.
guess it'll probably be three by the time I get done with this one. But
Well, Thomas Harris takes about 7 years between his novels, and he does pretty well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Well, again, folks, we're waiting for author Julie Lomax, author of a new book called Never Say Never. Waiting for her to come in. I hope she didn't forget, guys. What do y'all think?
Well, she may be having technical issues like I had the first time, Mike. Getting on the
Probably.
Podbean
Yeah.
was not the most intuitive, the easiest, simplest plan. It was like, wow, how's this work here? So there's technical issues that happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she hasn't contacted me. I don't
Yeah, but
see
you
her.
say she's been here before, so and
Yeah, she's there, so she is familiar. She's familiar with the
okay,
process.
well,
Yeah, so who knows?
see, the trouble, Mike, is you promoted her, and now she's too big to even know who you are.
And it's funny because, like I said, she's been contacting me the last couple months. So she's been in contact and letting me know how excited she is. And then uh, she sent out a couple posts yesterday talking about, hey, come listen to the show, da 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 da. So I mean, she knew, she knows.
So she knew.
Well,
Well,
Yeah,
life happens. Life
yeah,
happens.
yeah, she may. You never know. Something could come
She
up,
could be
and
something
she.
waiting in
probably
an
comes out
airport to
there.
try to get through the line. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel
That's a
so
mess up.
bad. I feel
Yeah,
so badly for the TSA people that are not being paid again,
yeah,
and they've got bills to pay. Oh my gosh,
yeah. That's
it's
that's
rough.
uh it's wild. What was I gonna talk? Okay, I lost my train of thought there. Uh, I lost my train of thought, guys. Anyway, so how much? Let's see. Should what's what the words I'm looking for here regarding a new title? What is the toughest book y'all ever had when y'all wanted to promote it or whatnot? Y'all remember what book that was? If any, the toughest project you ever had to get it going?
Huh. Well, a lot of authors say that they're terrible at writing the jacket copy and they have a hard time with it. I don't seem to, but a lot of them do because I don't know, maybe they're just not sure of what the story is or it will appeal to. And people like, "Oh, you have to carefully craft for your ideal reader, blah blah blah." And it's just like, just tell them what the story is in 3 sentences. I tell people, writers, all the time, get a 3 sentence pitch. There's your elevator pitch, 3 sentences, and then look at the person and say, do you want to hear more? Okay. And then if they say yes, okay, then you go on. If you haven't hooked them in that, you're not gonna, most likely.
Now,
Gotcha.
I've heard people say, okay, on the jacket, you don't want to give too much away, but at the same time, you can't just be sort of general, you know, overly general.
Yeah,
So,
no vague, no vague.
That's what I was
yeah,
gonna
so
say. Don't be vague. But then again, when you read it, you give too much away. Even I get worried sometimes when I put down whatever it is. I try not to put too much. Don't want to give too much away. And now you the story. Everybody knows what's gonna happen.
Well, Mike, I know the plot of every Shakespeare play, and yet if I go to see one, I'm not disappointed.
Hey, that's classic. You know what I mean? You can't be disappointed with a classic as long as they do
See,
it
I just
right.
compared you to Shakespeare, so you're welcome.
Gotcha.
one problem though of putting down too much information, and I think my first book I did, I may change the back cover because it has too much information in it about what's going to go on. But what happens is, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I get emails every day. I'll get two or three of them from someone saying, "Oh, I read the book and it's so great that this happens and this character and so on." And so you really believe it that they've read the book until you realize you could get all that information right from the
Yes.
cover. And then
Yes.
then I don't know, I'd be interested in knowing if you guys get a lot of this, but then they kind of will do something like, you know, offer to help you make something better in the book.
Yeah, Jeff,
Or,
those are scams, by the way, because they're
yeah,
using AI to take your book description, feed it into the AI to come up with
right,
a hook message to try to get you to click on it and eventually give them money for,
right.
increasing something.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It took me a while to find that out, but yeah. And another common scam I found out about is they ask you, would you like to be make a presentation to this book club
Yep,
or
yep,
this
the book club. Yep.
organization?
I've
And
got
then
a thousand followers, and you could be the one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But to
Yeah.
make then later you find out in order for you to do this, you're the one that has to pay, not the audience.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
so many people out there just trying to gouge money out of somebody for some stupid scam. And this is the latest on authors. This came up like months ago, and now we're all getting spammed with this kind of garbage. And it's just wish these people would just go away. I mean, do something better with your life than sit there and try to steal from someone, you jerks.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
guys,
I'm
how
tempted.
important how important is it to have your photo in the back cover when trying
Your
when promoting
photo
your
on
work?
the cover, not. No, inside is okay, but you don't need it on the cover.
Gotcha.
But
How
put
about in
it
the back?
prominently on your website as well as anything, your other social media, so they can associate. When people see a face, the trust level goes way up. And for an author, it's nice for them to associate. Unless you're a total introvert and you don't have to, or you want to be mysterious or use a pen name. It's all fine. It's what you're comfortable with.
What say
Mhm.
you, Jeff?
I don't have my face on the cover, but I do have it at the end of the book, when it's just a little blurb about me, and there'll be a little picture and stuff. Um, yeah. So, and I agree with Dale, they want to know who you are and what you look like. The reader does.
Gotcha. How about acknowledgement? Acknowledging someone for your.
Very
Oh,
important. Always make sure to thank the people that have helped you along the way.
yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
An
Should it be
attitude of
one
gratitude.
person, one person, or should you
As
name?
many as have helped. I've seen some acknowledgments that go on for pages, and I'm like, bless you, because people love seeing their name in that they've actually done something and put themselves out and spent some of their life and time to do something for you. And boy, that's the least you can do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if somebody volunteers to be a beta reader, I mean, they've that's quite a valuable gift that they're very generous gift they're giving you, and you should thank them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get back that time.
Yeah, you're
So
right about that.
if you're not paying them, they're doing you a very big favor. And that's why, I tell people I will not read manuscripts from most people just because I'm sorry, I that means less time for my stuff. And I don't have enough time for my stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just can't. I can't. Be a critic of somebody else's work because I know how tough it is for them to get that work out. You know what I mean? It's tough, and I know that because I struggle. So I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. Yeah, I
But
couldn't do
but
it.
for pay, I will give them a good critique and tell them some ways to tweak it to make it better. Sometimes it's just tightening the bolts or the nuts on the wheel, but sometimes they need some story elements. They need some structure. They need some better proofing. They need some better editing, and I can suggest some. But I'm going to say, like, run this through a critique workshop. Run this past some beta readers before you submit again, because they're going to help you make this several levels above what it is now.
Gotcha. Hey, fellas, it looks like we have finally Julie. Let's see if she's there. Julie, are you there?
I am here.
Hey, what's going on there?
Oh, you can't imagine. It's been one of those mornings. My
Uh-oh.
apologies. I am just sitting down. Oh my God. Okay. And I got everything out of the room. But the dogs have followed me in here. But anyway, yeah, it's been one of
Hey,
those
you know
mornings.
what? That's
So,
all right.
so,
I
so.
had Dale Phillips is here and Jeff Otis is here. So they were keeping me company while we waiting for you.
Oh, well, that was so sweet of you guys. Thank you so very much.
Well, we are sweet.
We
Well,
are
I don't know how
sweet.
sweet that is. I haven't dipped the dipper, so I don't know.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Are you guys interested in thrillers too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
all right.
All
Killer
right.
thrillers?
Uh, I'm interested in anything that will keep my interest. And
Oh,
if it's a thriller, if it's a killer thriller,
uh-huh.
I'm not squeamish. Well,
Yeah.
I guess once the saws come out and limbs are being removed, maybe that's where I'll put the book down. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm not into the torture stuff, and I've got a very good friend, and she writes these. But I opened it, and the first few pages were just grisly,
Yeah.
pointless torture, and I was just like, nope, nope, can't
It,
even. And
I
that
don't like
kept me
that
from
either.
reading anything else that she's done.
Yeah, that's such a turnoff. That's such a
gotcha.
turnoff.
So,
You gotta gently pull them into the hook, and
yeah, that's
then they
right.
go,
And then
Gently.
torture him. Yeah.
Yep,
oh
yep,
crap, I
yep.
didn't see that coming.
So, Julie, in the time that we have, you want to tell the audience a little bit about your new book coming out?
So this is cool, and I will tell you about it. It's called Never Say Never, and it's a book about manipulation, and I love manipulation, but I like it especially when it links with revenge and justice served. So I started writing this book as a challenge. I just want to tell you. So you guys, if you're writers, you're going to know that sometimes you belong to writing groups, and one person in my writing group writes chili pepper level fours and fives. Do you know what those are?
no.
no,
Well, you
no.
sweet guys, you just might not know, but those are often the advanced copies of Harlequin romances and Up. So they can be
Ah,
very detailed, and they're really big in Nashville, which surprises me. So
hmm.
one evening, we're all kind of reading chapters of what we got done, and I won't put this person's name out there right now because when she does the chili pepper, she writes under another name anyway, and I don't want to mess her up. And she works in the school system, so it wouldn't work.
Ooh,
Yeah, you don't want to say a name out loud. So
yeah.
anyway, she was telling me about it, and I said, "Well, I don't normally write those kind of books. Mine are more the Agatha Christie, level temperament of that." And she goes, "Oh, well, you probably just don't know how to write them." I went, "Oh,
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
challenge accepted." So,
Wow.
my this is the first book that I've ever written that it's got a chili pepper level. Now, I am not a 4 or 5, but I did step out of a comfort zone that I normally don't. So if you ever read any of my other books, I don't go into anything like that. And I still keep it enough where it's still clean enough that you're like, "What?" So, that's where I
Gotcha.
went. So, anyway, this one is the first one. It's got an introduction of any chili, you know, where you're wringing your neck around your collar or, sweating or anything like that. So, it's just got a little bit of that in there. And I don't put it, like you say, like the horse. If you just don't throw it in somebody's face, you kind of merge into it later in the chapters. Um, and then you have to decide whose side you're on uh, when some of this occurs and the manipulation factor. And
Interesting.
the yeah, oh yeah. And I always have a twist at the end. So you're like, sure, maybe your hero or heroine or is looking like they're gonna, win. Maybe not. Just
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Interesting.
so anyway,
Now,
this
you
yeah.
mentioned Agatha Christie, and she's a quote that I put out yesterday. Something about you. A great story comes out when you're washing the dishes. Now, is that a story that just popped in your head while you were just doing something, or you already had it in your mind?
No, I kinda, spontaneously think of stories, so I will if someone challenges it or you run across something or you see something, I'm like one of those. Like, if I'm washing the dishes and I'm daydreaming of a new story in my head. And usually, I'll daydream just long enough to have done start to finish of the whole the real plot of the stories and maybe not the subplots yet. And so then I spend the rest of my time figuring out how I'm going to introduce other characters and have other subplots. I think books are much more interesting when you have those in them. And they are enough to be able to throw people off when you give them a little bit of some clues that are real clues, and others are just you know, make you think it's a clue. And you're like,
Gotcha.
oh,
Well,
there's
listen.
some.
So
Yeah,
red herring.
the red
Yeah.
herring. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
we did a panel at Killer Nashville on action and thrillers, and
Mhm.
so we set this up. Another panelist and I came shouting and like scuffling down the aisle through the audience, and yelling at each other. And then a woman screamed, and I turned to the audience and go, "Did that get your heart pumping?" And they're all like, "Yeah." And I go, "That's Thriller."
That's right. That's right. I love that. You should have said, okay, did anybody get a spontaneous story started in that
Well,
energy?
you don't want anything
So,
spontaneous in that crowd. I mean,
I have a question. What is the definition of a thriller?
I don't think I've ever looked it up, the true definition. I've had my own opinion, but I don't
Yeah.
think I've
What,
ever.
think you'd be thrilled.
What's your
what is
opinion?
your opinion?
An opinion is a thriller leads you down a path that makes your heart elevate, your um your hesitance to approach it because you're of your own fear. And I think that most thrillers that I've enjoyed that I like will also not go into detail, but allow your own imagination from your own past experiences carry you into that next level of fear.
Good definition.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it seems like a thriller. There's an element of thriller in any book that deals with tension and adventure and danger. Um,
Mhm.
I'm always hard pressed if somebody says, do you write thrillers? Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
you know,
That's what your intention was. Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. So Julie,
I I think it's the music, if you watch movies or anything that are thriller movies,
yes, yeah,
and you've
Alfred
already
Hitchcock.
read and you've already read the book, it's the
Yeah,
music that you're like, "Whoa, good lord, I wasn't even scared when I was reading that part."
yeah,
And then it's that, dramatic build, and I think credits to musicians because, man, they make the books, or that turn
yes,
into movies better, much better.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yes,
you bring up
interesting.
Hitchcock, but there's also that suspense in most of them more than thriller. A thriller is a lot of heightened action, and sometimes it has a broader scope. Like this, the worldwide spy goes around and has to do something big. They're usually on a larger scale. Suspense can be anything, just a single person in a terrible situation, and Hitchcock was the master of that,
Oh,
building
I
it
would
up to
agree.
an
Yeah.
almost unbearable tension and hoping, oh my God, when the audience is yelling, don't go in the cellar, that kind of thing. That's a
Yeah.
good suspense. But a thriller usually has a broader canvas and a more garish, if you will, canvas for that.
Mm.
gotcha.
I
So
agree. That
Julie,
rear
what
that rear that rear mirror, I mean, the rear window was a great one.
awesome movie? Yes,
God, I was
love
like,
that
"Oh,
movie.
don't get her
Yes,
out, get her out." Yeah. Which,
yes,
by the
that was
way, was played by the guy who played Perry Mason,
yes,
and then he
yes,
lost all that weight to be able to play Perry Mason.
and
Up
the
until that
blonde hair.
point, yeah, he had the blonde hair, and he was like,
Yes,
I don't know, 40, 50 pounds overweight then. Well, he was always
yes,
heavy, but he was heavier. And then right after that show, he was able to get the Perry Mason show
yep,
going. I
yep.
love that. But anyway, go,
So what
sorry.
genre are you hitting on with this new book that you're? What genre?
It's going to hit both thriller and suspense. So there are sections throughout the book that as you discover, there's a larger connection going on of other things that have happened in the past that you don't realize have happened. And then singularly, you're going to find out it was really kind of down to one person, but you don't know that at first. So
Uh,
to answer your thriller suspense piece of that, but the story does start off. The premise is blind hysteria, and it is a victim who is out of an accident and somehow through the trauma, has been diagnosed with blonde hysteria. And her psychiatrist is going to introduce conversion therapy. And he steps over the line of being ethical.
Hmm. What do you guys think about that, guys?
Sounds great.
So he go. I'll give you a little bit more of the story. He goes to he's stuck. They've been seeing each other for about 6 months. Nothing's improving, and she's starting to lose hope of whether anything's going to ever, you know, come out of this. And she is going to go see now an ophthalmologist. Is this well-known guy out of Atlanta who goes up twice a month to Chicago to help out another practice, and they live in Chicago. I always do a lot of my evil stories out of Chicago. I don't know why, but anyway, I really don't know.
Maybe
Somehow it
because of the
stuck.
shady past, maybe? Is
Yeah,
that
I don't
why?
know. I should have said Minnesota, but I didn't. But so anyway, I do in Chicago. And so if you ever see a story and I've got Chicago, go, oh, this is going to be evil. You know, you're going to know right then on Julie. I don't know why I do it. Nashville doesn't get hit that way, but they're living in they're living in the Chicago area at the time of the story, and so she goes to this other doctor, who is an eye doctor specialist of all that stuff, just to make sure there isn't something underlying that they've not missed. And while she's off seeing him, he goes to a conference in California, much like a lot of medical doctors do. They go to their bigger practices and everything, and they listen for, new ways of practice. And this happens to be, for psychologists and psychiatrists, big medical convention. And he runs into an old friend or old colleague. I don't want to say he was a friend, a colleague. And the colleague is so excited about this new therapy, and he lowers his voice because it's not something he wants everyone to know about. And it's a
Ah.
bit questionable. And he's got two other colleagues that are also involved. And they kind of will him into showing him this new practice because they say it's highly successful and they're very proud of themselves. It's also very questionable. And so he goes and watches and takes notes. I mean, he's coming at it from the observational standpoint. I mean, he's writing notes, but as the therapy continues that he's watching on this computer play out, he starts having a lot more thicker questions and deeper questions to ask him. And so they defend what they're doing, and he starts thinking about it, and he's thinking, well, I've gotten to this point, and he shares the story about his frustration of trying to help this one woman who has blind hysteria, and they're like, oh, this would be perfect. And
Mm.
of course, he bites, and so he goes back and he tries to do this therapy on this girl, and there is some improvement. But while all this is going on, because he's such a dedicated psychiatrist into his field and wanting to do practice, his marriage is completely falling apart.
Mm.
And then he decides to introduce the therapy to his home life,
Uh-oh.
and that's where things begin to unravel.
How many
Oh,
pages we're talking about here?
I'm like 45,000. So, and the font is 11, and I do a spacing of like 1 and 1/2. So I haven't gone back to look at the pages. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't tell you.
Well,
But
it sounds like you can mark it as a medical thriller, a la Michael Crichton and others, because you have the medical element in there that they've
Ah.
done so successfully.
is
Of
there a choice? Is there a choice where you can actually
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got all the
really?
choice. And again, hone your jacket copy to be that thriller type jacket copy to go, okay, it's about this, and boom. And they got questions and they want to read more and they're going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did Mike share the cover? I do have a cover
No, no,
already.
I shared. I think did I send it out? Yeah, I promoted it out there. Of course, on Facebook and Twitter and all those places. So that's where it's at.
I do like the cover, and so
I
I
like
have
it.
yeah, and and you can see I mean, besides the title and the cover, I haven't put the tagline or anything in front of it yet. That'll be the next thing, but that's really making me think about the medical thriller of that piece. Thank you.
Yeah.
Was
Now,
that Jeff who said that? Who said that one?
That was
that was
me,
there. Yeah.
Dale.
Well, well, thank you. Aren't you sweet? Bless your heart.
I am. Wait a minute. I know what bless your heart means.
Now we did mention something about the title matching the cover. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I think it fits well. I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I could right now. I've got it with ARC readers, and so I am getting some feedback from them. Um, I usually use about 5 or 6 ARC readers, and then I mean truly listen to what they're saying. Um, and then I may adjust. I did the one book, and I can't remember, Mike, if we did this one. There's an earlier book that I've written called A Pawns Game,
Yes,
and
yes. I think
and it
is that the one I interviewed? I interviewed on that one,
was
didn't
it
I?
that one or Adjudicator? I couldn't remember, but
Well,
so
it was one of them.
it was one of the yeah, I don't know, I'm writing those thrillers. But the Pawns game was originally about only like 31,000 words. It wasn't written as a big book. It was a story that I had just woke up from a sleep and had the entire story in my head. I went down to my office and really typed that thing out in 3 weeks. And my husband thought that was weird that I ever did that because usually it takes me several months to go through one. And so when I had my ARC readers read it, all of them had asked, "Hey, this is such a great character. I wish you would just tell us more about it." So I pulled the book back, and then I ended up writing like 6,000 more words. So the ARC readers will influence me. I don't know how they do with you guys, but I do listen to their advice. If there's enough of them saying the same thing, I do adjust.
Got you, Jeff. You
Oh
got a question
yeah.
out there?
What's that? Oh,
You have a question?
no. Oh, no, no, no. I was just going to say, yeah, definitely. Yeah, if several readers say the same thing, it's something you really should pay attention to.
Yeah, and get on it really fast, and because otherwise you'll forget, and then you're in the middle of another story. I don't know. Mike and I had talked about this first, and I consistently like this. It may because I'm a female and we have 15 different things going on in our head, and men are more simplistic.
I'm not
Oh,
saying a
sorry.
word. I'm
We're
saying nothing.
focused. We're focused.
Yeah.
Challenge
I'm
accepted,
not
Mr.
saying
Lomax.
nothing.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not jumping on
Yeah.
my stepdaughter tells me I'm simple.
Yeah.
You're a simple
that.
man.
You're the
Nothing wrong with
Italian
simple.
in Italian, it's simpatico. Um, but I normally have 4 or 5 books going on at one time, and so there's never a lull for me in writing. It's just whatever mood I've rolled out of bed in, and that's when I go in and spend
Uh,
2 to 4 hours, typing.
so who will
Yeah.
be publishing this book for you?
Oh, I do self-publishing. I had gone through publishing companies before. When I first started out, I had 2 books going through publishing company, and I hated it. And I just learned enough about it that I do my own. I really do.
Uh,
I do, either ebooks or audios or whatever, but I like the control. I'm OCD, so that just fits my personality so well.
Mhm.
I really
well,
do.
I know that Dale had a little thing about the way I keep my desk all make a mess. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah,
know where everything is at. So Jeff's the same way too. But
that's
you're
your
more.
stack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's that's right,
I
Nero.
I'm not gonna show y'all to my desk. I've got just enough room for my computer right now.
Ah,
But
I,
see there?
I,
You're not the only one.
you're accumulating that information that you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna use that in that story. I'm gonna stick it in that pile," and that's where you put it.
See, Dale? See?
well, what
You're
I
you
do is because sometimes I will admit, my wife's not around right now, so I can admit this. I will admit that sometimes I lose papers, that I don't always know where everything is in all these stacks that are all around me.
you sure somebody else didn't come in there and move it for you? You know those
Yeah,
stacks
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting possibility, and sometimes you wonder.
Mhm.
But what I do so that I don't forget is I'll just put right in as I'm writing. I'll put a line of X's and that are easy to find. Then, and I just say what the idea is that I want to incorporate.
Right.
because that allows me to move on, say, to another book that I need to work on, and then I can come back to the original and see where I was, what I wanted to do, and so on.
I don't know how long either one of y'all have been writing, or even for my, but when I first started out, I used to just longhand and then transcribe it later. And what I realize is when I'm really sleepy and I'm trying to write something and I can't go back and read what I wrote, I have no idea what it was. So I
Uh,
have forced myself to just use the computer as a typewriter and just type it out all the time. And so now it's hard for me to write anything in longhand other than just quick jots to myself. But totally, I write everything on the computer. Everything.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, what's
Do
your
y'all
target date for this book to come out?
it should be mid-April. I'm just waiting for 2 more of the ARC readers to come back to see if I need to do any more adjustments, and then, of course, I need to figure out what a really clever tagline in the back of the book. I'm not gonna change the cover, I actually like that. And I use several products. Canva is probably my favorite, but I have tried other ones. This one happened to be off an AI app that I tried about 3 weeks ago,
Ah,
and it was something I caught on Facebook, and it was called GenAI, and they can do movie trailers and stuff like that, which is really why I was looking into it because I thought, oh, this next time I'll try to do a movie trailer on this book. Maybe something posted on YouTube. And so that's why I was looking at it. But I saw a section that was like, oh, you can do book covers too. And I went, oh, okay. And then I just
wow.
kind of inputted some comments about what I was looking for. And we went through about 3 or 4 of them. It was the fourth one. And I thought, "Uh, I don't think I would have done any better with my Canva. So I took it. And that's the one that's going to be used. Never say never. Mm.
Never say
Hmm.
never. Well, I
Yeah.
like it. I like the cover.
I
There's only
I do
one.
too. And what was interesting, how you go Google back because you're like, oh, I don't want to use a title that's been used before, but Never Say Never has been used in other books
Yeah,
titles.
Dale mentioned James Bond.
Yeah,
I forgotten that it was in one of those
I had
movies.
totally forgotten that too. And I, at one point, I've actually thought about changing the title, but I thought, I'm stuck with it. I think
It sounds good.
It
Yeah.
fits it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe I
Before we
should
go,
put
you
that as a
guys have any
tagline.
further questions before we go for our guests?
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe I should put that as a tagline and say it's not a James Bond novel. and, and just have a comment like that. And would that be enough for people to pick the book up? I don't know.
Yeah. What say you, Dale?
Well, I'd say find some really good comparable titles called comps, the successful ones that are similar in style, in pace, in concept, and use that. Say if you liked, Michael Crichton's, or if you liked Robin Cook's Coma, or something like that, you'll love Never Say Never.
There you go.
Michael Crichton also wrote Congo, right? Just in
Yes,
case.
he wrote a
Yeah,
lot of stuff.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
yeah.
also wrote
yeah.
Jurassic Park. So.
That's right, Jurassic
Ah.
Park. He got
So,
into the
Julie,
animals.
if you want folks to find you, where can they find you?
Oh, so www.juju.agency, and they
Mhm.
can Google me or they can, find me either on Amazon. I'd have Drafted Digit, so I do have it on books as well. And some of my books are on Ingram, some are on Books a Million, and some of them are on Amazon KDP. Actually, I think I've listed all of them on KDP, just because it's the ease of it. But yeah, anywhere you can find me. And I do try to answer. I have started a newsletter to answer questions that I get throughout the months. And I've been doing that for the last couple of months because there's just so many questions. But I'm gladly answering them. I think they're great.
Nice. Well, you know what? You owe me time, so I'm gonna have to bring you back once the book is
You know what? I got another
finally
book that's
out
gonna
because
be
you owe
coming
me
out
time.
fairly soon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, Juju, I want to thank you for coming in again. Like I said, you owe me time, so I'm gonna bring you back so we can talk about your book once it's out, and maybe you can tell us what the feedback is and all that. I think it'd be cool.
I think that'd be great, and I'd love to do it.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Julie Lomax. I appreciate you coming in, and definitely gonna bring you back.
Thank you so much. Bye, Mike.
All right.
Bye,
Have a
Jeff.
good
Bye,
one.
Dale. Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Well, that was nice. That was nice having her in here. What do you guys think about that book?
I think it's an interesting concept, and I was thinking there's a lot of places where manipulation she had mentioned manipulation, and I could see how how that could fit into the whole theme.
Yeah, I wonder about the research. I wonder if she's talked to psychologists about the condition and done any research at all about that, because that always adds the verisimilitude to the authorial voice, when you've done that and you can put actual, incidents from real life into your thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. I wish her luck. I think it's gonna go well. So again, like I told her, she's got to come back. So we can talk more. I want to hear what the feedback is on that book. Sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. Well, fellas, it was nice having you here. I really appreciate it. It's been a cool topic. Nice feedback from you guys. You guys are awesome, and I want to thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, bye bye now.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Bye, Mike.
All right. Wow. Well, these guys are great. Jeff Otis and Dale T. Phillips. These guys are great. It was nice to have them there. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for listening in. Again, definitely got to bring Julie Lomax back. Juju. Got to bring her back. She owes me time. Anyway, so again, once her book is finally out, we can learn more about it, see what the feedback is, and go from there. It's always nice to have her in. Anyway, it's been a great show. Again, I want to thank Dale T. Phillips and Jeff Otis for coming in, for joining me. You guys are great. And for Julie Lomax for finally coming in and talk about her book. It sounds interesting. Anyway, it's been a great show, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, you know what I say? Don't forget your coffee and have a fantastic day. Have a good one.